Hello, everyone! Today, Cryptocurrency Academy tells the story of Litecoin LTC in the most human way, starting from a feeling anyone who has ever moved money knows too well, the feeling of waiting just to be allowed to trust. You send a transfer, then you wait for confirmation. You pay for something, then you wait for the successful message. You send money to family, then you wait hour after hour, day after day, worrying whether it's late, whether it gets held, whether it gets questioned. The more you have to wait, the smaller you feel inside a system with too many layers. And from that feeling, people begin to dream of a different kind of money, money that can move like a message, fast, clear, and without needing permission. That is exactly how Crypto Explained begins, not with hype, but with a real-life ache. In 2011, Bitcoin opened the first door. But the moment that door opened, a new question showed up naturally. If a system wants to live in everyday life, can it be faster, cheaper, and easier to use? Litecoin was born from that question. It never tried to introduce itself as the replacement for Bitcoin. It felt more like a practical, younger sibling, trying to do the ordinary job better, making the movement of value feel lighter and less delayed. In early October 2011, Litecoin was released, and a few days later, the network went live. From the very beginning, its spirit was clear: improve the user experience while keeping the backbone of a decentralized system. That's the kind of origin story Crypto Explained loves, because it starts with purpose, not ego. 3 core choices shaped Litecoin's personality, and if you understand these 3, you understand why the market sometimes loves it and sometimes ignores it. First, the target block time is about 2.5 minutes, faster than Bitcoin, so confirmations feel less stressful. Second, the maximum supply is 84 million, 4 times Bitcoin's, which gave it the image of silver that is easier to circulate than rare gold. Third, it used Scrypt instead of SHA-256, which at the time gave people the sense that smaller miners could still participate. It sounds technical, but the real impact was psychological. Faster feels safer, clear supply feels understandable, and Scrypt made people feel they still had a seat at the table. This is where Crypto Explained gets real. Technology matters, but emotions decide how people react. In the early years, Litecoin was small, quiet, and steady. Before social media could amplify every rumor, before the crowd's emotions could explode overnight, Litecoin felt more like useful if you need it than a ticket to change your life. It slowly appeared on early exchanges, liquidity improved, and people could buy and sell more easily, and that convenience helped the story spread. In that period, people came to Litecoin out of curiosity and belief in a simple idea. Money can run on rules, without one center deciding who goes first and who must wait. The more people used it, the more they noticed a very ordinary benefit. Even being a little faster can make you feel a lot more at ease. That's the quiet kind of truth Crypto Explained is built on. Then 2013 arrived like a hot wind. This was when many people first saw how crypto could change faces and moods at shocking speed. Litecoin's price surged in a short time. The community lit up, and the story shifted from usefulness to opportunity. When price starts moving, the human mind automatically writes a more beautiful story than reality. People stopped seeing LTC as a payment tool and started seeing it as a ticket to prove they were early, a ticket to believe life could suddenly turn. And this is the most dangerous moment. When you stop asking what it helps you do and start asking how high it can go. The second question sounds harmless, but it opens the door for greed to walk in quietly. This is a classic Crypto Explained moment. The chart moves and the heart follows. 1 month of price action can become a lifetime lesson. Many people bought when everything was already loud because they were afraid of missing the train. They looked at the chart like a train leaving the station, and they jumped on without asking where it was going. When the crowd is excited, everyone has a reason to hold. When the crowd starts pulling back, everyone has a reason to hope. Hope is beautiful in life, but in markets, hope can become an excuse to delay decisions. People often don't lose because of one drop. They lose because of too many moments whispering, "It will come back." And in crypto, "It will come back" is sometimes the sentence that charges the highest tuition. That's crypto explained in one line. The market doesn't just test your money, it tests your self-control. After the heat of 2013, the cold arrived. 2014 and the years after forced people to wake up in an uncomfortable way. The market can stay silent for a very long time. Price fell, news became rare, newcomers disappeared, and long-time holders got tired. This kind of winter doesn't just take money, it also takes belief. People start doubting everything: the coin, the technology, even themselves. And in that environment, many projects vanish. Not always because the tech is bad, but because they cannot survive when the crowd turns away. Litecoin did not vanish. It chose a survival strategy that isn't glamorous but works. Stay stable, strengthen the network, and keep existing day by day. This is where Crypto Explained stops being entertainment and becomes a mirror. One detail that many newcomers miss, but matters a lot, is the story of merge mining with Dogecoin. When the market cools down and mining rewards feel less attractive, many proof-of-work networks can weaken as hash rate drops. Dogecoin merge mining with Litecoin became a practical alliance. Walk together to be safer, so the security cost doesn't crush each network alone. This isn't the kind of news that makes you feel excited, like a huge partnership, but it builds a stronger foundation in silence. And in crypto, what helps a project live long is often not a beautiful story, but practical choices like this. Litecoin didn't try to shine with promises. It quietly built endurance. That's another Crypto Explained truth. Long games are won in boring seasons. During those quiet years, Litecoin reinforced something truly valuable: predictable rules. You may not be able to predict tomorrow's price, but you can predict the issuance rhythm and the supply schedule. Each time block rewards move toward reduction, the community is reminded that supply is not something that can be changed on a whim. In real life, what scares people most is not volatility. It's the rules changing in the middle of the game. Litecoin offered the market a feeling of stability. Its monetary rules are clear, consistent, and not dependent on the wishes of a small group. For people who see crypto as a system of rules, that clarity is exactly why they stayed, even when the market was quiet. This is Crypto Explained as discipline, not drama. Then the first halving arrived on August 25, 2015. This is a major psychological milestone because halving naturally triggers a simple thought in the crowd. Less supply means higher price. But the market rarely gives you a straight line like that. Halving changes the pace of issuance, but price depends on demand, liquidity, macro conditions, and whatever story the crowd is believing at the time. And around that halving period, Litecoin did not explode immediately. That disappointed many people, and that disappointment became the lesson. Being right about the mechanism does not mean being right about the timing. Anyone who enters crypto only waiting for one perfect day often gets worn down by the waiting itself. That is Crypto Explained in practice. The calendar is not a magic button. If you look back from 2013 to 2016, you can see a familiar emotional loop. Excitement, expectation, confidence, then confusion, then exhaustion. Many people leave during exhaustion because they think the coin is dead. But Litecoin kept running, and kept running sounds simple, yet it is rare in a market where so many things survive on marketing. Litecoin did not promise to make you rich fast. It said one sentence through action. The network still confirms, still mines, still transfers, still exists. For people who crave constant excitement, that feels boring. For people who understand the value of endurance, that is impressive. This is the quiet wisdom Crypto Explained tries to leave you with. The closing lesson is simple. Before the market tests your wallet, it tests your discipline. Litecoin was born from a real need. Faster, more convenient value transfer. It lived through a mania to teach greed, lived through winter to teach endurance, and lived through halving to remind you that scarcity does not automatically become price. If you listen to this story only to find a promise, you will be disappointed. But if you listen to understand how markets move inside the human mind, Litecoin becomes a long lesson. The people who make it are not the ones who guess right every time, but the ones who recognize which emotion is pulling them, hope, greed, or fear, and still keep their head clear enough not to force a reckless decision. That is crypto explained the way it's meant to be. Human first, chart second. Cryptocurrency Academy continues the Litecoin story as a mirror of crowd psychology. In this stage, Litecoin is no longer just a coin that confirms faster and costs less to move. It starts becoming a belief that can be bought and sold in the minds of many people. When belief gets priced, everything becomes both beautiful and dangerous. Some people step in out of curiosity and accidentally witness price moving like a rocket. Others step in because they fear missing out and get pulled into the storm. The examples below are only to illustrate emotions and the rise and fall cycle, not investment advice. And you will notice something strange. The thing that can change someone's life the fastest can also be the thing that steals sleep the fastest. This is crypto explained through real people, not just charts. Around 2017, Litecoin rose as a testing ground for upgrades the crypto world cared about, especially SegWit. On May 10, 2017, Litecoin was widely recognized as having activated SegWit, creating a new wave of expectation that the network could run smoother and open paths for Layer 2 ideas. Also on May 10, 2017, many people pointed to early Lightning activity happening on Litecoin rather than on Bitcoin as a symbolic marker of how quickly this ecosystem could experiment. When stories like that spread, price does not rise only because of a chart. It rises because people feel they are holding a small piece of the future. That is crypto explained as psychology riding on technology. Ethan is a bartender in Las Vegas, Nevada. He is not a tech guy. He is just someone working night shifts, with tip income that rises and falls with the season. One night in early May 2017, Ethan heard customers talk about Litecoin as the silver coin next to Bitcoin. He opened his phone and bought on May 10, 2017, when Litecoin was around $31.96. He did not buy much, just a few $100s, basically to see what happens. After that, it felt like a movie. The price climbed, chat groups celebrated, and people kept saying, "This time is different." Ethan started looking at the clock more than looking at customers. He felt excited, but he also felt afraid, because it was his first time seeing money expand just because numbers on a screen were jumping. This is crypto explained as a new kind of temptation. Then the late 2017 mania hit. Every night Ethan heard the same kind of push. Buy more, it will go higher. And it did go higher. On December 19, 2017, Litecoin was around $350.25. Ethan sold with shaky hands. He did not feel like he reached a peak. He felt like he just escaped a train moving too fast. The profit was enough to wipe out his credit card debt, replace an old car that kept breaking down, and most importantly, give him a strange relief. He no longer felt cornered by life. But at the same time, Ethan started doubting himself. What if I held a few more weeks? The trap of a big win is that it makes you believe the next one will be just as easy. That is crypto explained as the aftertaste of success. And right when the crowd was the most intoxicated, another piece of news made Litecoin feel more complicated. Charlie Lee publicly shared that he had sold almost all of his Litecoin holdings, keeping only a small amount as a personal keepsake, saying it was to avoid conflicts of interest. For people who understand, it looks like a transparency move. For a crowd drunk on price, it feels like someone pouring cold water on the dream. The market started showing its true face. Price can run on hope, but it can also fall the moment trust cracks. And when the excitement fades, the question that hurts is simple. Did I buy because I understood, or did I buy because I feared being left behind? This is crypto explained as a test of motive. Monica is an elementary school teacher in Orlando, Florida. In late 2017, in the teacher's lounge, She heard coworkers bragging that buying coins went up faster than a salary raise. Monica did not want to be rich. She just wanted to stop feeling stressed every month when bills came due. She entered at the most dangerous time. She bought on December 19, 2017, around $350.25. For Monica, the number range 300 to 350 was no longer a price. It felt like a door. She believed she was stepping into a new path. She started imagining switching from renting to a small place with a backyard and cutting down her student loan burden. She did not realize she was buying in the zone where people kept insisting it could never drop again, while crypto history loves proving the opposite. That is Crypto Explained, as the moment hope becomes blind. 2018 passed like a ladder snapping one step at a time. Bad news followed bad news. Red charts followed red charts. Monica kept calming herself with "it will recover." She did not sell because selling would mean admitting she was wrong. But real life does not wait for belief to recover. By early 2020, when the pandemic shock and financial panic spread, Monica's work hours were cut and her emergency savings thinned. And on March 13, 2020, Litecoin was around $37.44. Monica sold in pain, not because she hated Litecoin, but because she needed cash to live. The worst feeling was not losing money. The worst feeling was losing self-respect. I let fear of missing out lead my decisions. This is Crypto Explained as a collision between market and real life. But from Monica's pain, a second lesson becomes clear. Crypto does not only punish greed, it also punishes lack of planning. Many people talk about long-term belief, but they do not prepare for the month when life forces them to sell. Monica later said she finally understood this. If you step into a volatile market, you must assume the worst can happen, and you must have an exit plan. She stopped seeing Litecoin as a ticket that changes her life and started seeing it as an asset that can climb very high, but can also fall very deep. She stopped searching for comfort inside chat groups and returned to something calmer, writing things down. Why did I buy? What is my maximum loss? And if I am wrong, where exactly am I wrong? That is Crypto Explained as discipline after trauma. Caleb is a forklift operator in Columbus, Ohio. Unlike Monica, Caleb stepped in when everyone was afraid. On March 13, 2020, he bought Litecoin around $37.44. Not because he was brave, but because he noticed something very human. When everyone panics, price can sometimes fall below the value the crowd once dreamed about. Caleb did not dream of getting rich. He dreamed of breathing room. He held through volatility, kept working, and looked at the chart less. Then 2020 moved on, the market recovered, and the idea of crypto entering everyday life became louder, including PayPal expanding access to buying, holding, and selling certain cryptocurrencies, including Litecoin, around October 2020. For many people, that felt like a signal. Crypto was touching real life. This is Crypto Explained as sentiment turning back. When money flow and narrative returned, 2021 rose like a powerful wave. Caleb witnessed what Ethan had witnessed, the balance growing faster than imagination. On May 10, 2021, Litecoin was around $359.33. Caleb sold most of it. He cried in his car, but it was the kind of crying that feels like letting go of a heavy weight. He paid off his mother's medical debt, repaired a leaking roof, and built an emergency fund that could cover a few months without work. For Caleb, a life change was not a big house or a luxury car. A life change was no longer fearing the phone buzzing with another bill, and he also saw the second face of the market right after. Only days later, on May 21, 2021, Litecoin was around $180.20, reminding you that the market can give gains fast, but it can also take back confidence fast if you do not have profit-taking discipline. That is Crypto Explained as speed in both directions. That moment taught Caleb something many people only understand after losing money. The market can reward you quickly, but it can also steal your feeling of certainty quickly. Caleb said he was lucky because he sold while calm, not because life forced him. And 2021 carried another media lesson too. A false story about Walmart partnering with or accepting Litecoin spread pushed price upward, then was quickly confirmed as fake. Caleb said he almost rushed to buy back, then stopped in time because he remembered how FOMO destroyed Monica. Fake news does not only steal money, it steals calmness. This is Crypto Explained as information risk. So what stays after this stage? Litecoin had real moments of technological pride and early experimentation value, from SegWit to early lightning symbolism. But the lives of people holding Litecoin still orbit around an old question. Am I controlling my decisions, or are my emotions controlling me? Ethan won big and then got pulled by regret and greed. Monica entered late and then got forced by real life to sell in pain. Caleb entered in fear, exited with enough, and kept the most important thing: safety for his family. Litecoin, seen this way, is not only digital cash. It is a test of discipline, planning, and whether you can choose enough before the market charges you tuition. That is Crypto Explained the way Cryptocurrency Academy wants you to feel it. Human first, outcome second. After the 2021 explosion, Litecoin entered a strange season. It was no longer pushed by the familiar story everyone knows, like a brand new coin that will change the world overnight. Litecoin at this point felt like someone who has survived a long time in the market and now has to answer a harder question. How do you keep standing when the world just finished celebrating, then suddenly flips into fear? In this stretch, Litecoin is not only facing price, it is facing two forces pulling in opposite directions. One side is people's need for privacy, the other side is the system's need for compliance. And that tension is what creates the rise and fall that LTC holders feel in real life. This is Crypto Explained as pressure from both sides, not just a chart. In May 2022, Litecoin activated the MWEB upgrade. For people who love tech, it looked like a real step forward for privacy and efficiency, because it is optional instead of forcing everyone to use it. But the market does not read the word optional with calm eyes. The market reads the word privacy and immediately hears the word risk. That is the crypto reality. An upgrade can be a point of pride and, at the same time, fuel for a new wave of fear, especially when exchanges and regulators start watching more closely. This is Crypto Explained as one feature creating two stories at once. Jasmine is a nurse in Seattle, Washington. After 2021, she stopped believing in getting rich fast. She only wanted a real emergency cushion, so if her child got sick or she had to miss shifts, she would not collapse. In the summer of 2022, when the market was falling hard and everyone said crypto was dead, Jasmine looked at Litecoin and kept it simple. Buy something that has lasted, not something that is just hot. On June 18, 2022, she bought LTC around $47.25. She did not brag, did not post, did not chase attention. She wrote one line in her notebook: buy to stay calm, not to beat anyone. That is Crypto Explained as quiet decision-making. But life rarely lets you stay calm for free. Not long after, the MWEB story started pulling in bad headlines from Asia. Some exchanges in South Korea announced they would stop supporting Litecoin due to concerns tied to the privacy feature. News spreads fast, and fear spreads faster. Jasmine was working a night shift. Her phone kept buzzing. Friends texting that LTC was being labeled risky and could be pushed out of the system. She stared at a red chart and felt her heartbeat turn red too. This is the very human moment. She was not terrified that the coin would die. She was terrified that she had been wrong. She almost sold just to sleep in peace, but she did not press the button. She asked herself one question: if I sell only to stop feeling fear, why did I buy in the first place? This is Crypto Explained as a battle with your own reflex. Time passed, fear softened, and then 2023 brought back an old story: halving. Many people wait for halving like fireworks, but halving is more like a bell. It reminds you new supply will slow down, while price depends on money flow and psychology. On August 2nd, 2023, LTC was around $87.49. Jasmine looked at her position, and this time she sold with a plan. She did not get greedy. She sold because it was enough. The profit did not make her rich, but it did something Jasmine calls a life shift. She paid down credit card debt, built a 3-month emergency fund, and for the first time in years, she slept without fearing a surprise bill. This is crypto explained as choosing enough. But Jasmine's story is only one side of Litecoin. The other side is people who enter because they believe halving is a price-up button. In crypto, everyone hears the supply story. Everyone assumes price must rise. But the market does not reward simple logic. The market rewards discipline and timing is rare. That is why the same halving moment can create two different lives. One person sells enough and breathes. Another person buys and waits for a miracle. This is crypto explained as the difference between a plan and a hope. Derek is an air conditioning technician in Tampa, Florida. He works job to job, busy in hot months, worried in slow months. Derek heard friends say halving is a sure opportunity because if supply drops, price must go up. On August 2nd, 2023, he bought LTC right around $87.49 with the most common mindset. Buy today, it goes up in a few weeks. I cash out. Life gets easier. But weeks passed, and the market did not give Derek that quick win feeling. Price moved sideways and felt tired. He started checking his phone during work, and his mind stopped being fully on the job site. This is crypto explained as attention getting hijacked. Then real life stepped in. In early 2024, Derek's car transmission failed, and the repair cost hit immediately. He did not have a strong emergency fund. He had to sell. On January 1st, 2024, LTC was around $74.73. Derek sold feeling both angry and ashamed, not because the loss was massive, but because the pain was deeper than money. He bought because someone else said it was guaranteed. Derek said something brutally honest. When I bought, I thought I was investing. When I sold, I realized I was only hoping. This is crypto explained as the bill coming due. After that, Derek changed in a way nobody expected. He did not quit crypto instantly, but he quit living by rumors. He made a simple rule. If I do not have an emergency fund, I do not buy. If I buy, but I do not know when I will sell, I do not buy. And most importantly, he stopped searching for one coin to save his life. He went back to saving his life with something harder: discipline. People think a life change must be a big dramatic win. But sometimes a life change is ending a self-destructive habit. That is crypto explained as maturity. Priya is a QA tester in Austin, Texas. She hates the feeling of being yanked around by charts. She chose Litecoin for a reason that sounds backwards. It is old enough that it does not need to prove itself every day, and familiar enough that she does not need to explain it constantly. On January 1st, 2024, Priya bought LTC around $74.73. She did not expect an instant explosion. She treated it as a small piece of a financial plan, something for the future while accepting volatility. Priya kept reminding herself, what scares me most is not price falling. What scares me most is becoming someone who reacts like the crowd. This is crypto explained as self-awareness. By late 2025, the market gained a new narrative. Spot ETFs for altcoins started showing up. Canary Capital launched a spot Litecoin ETF with ticker LTCC on Nasdaq on October 28, 2025, and the internet temperature rose fast. Priya did not rush to buy more. She looked back at her original goal. I bought for long-term advantage, not to fight the market. On October 28, 2025, LTC was around $99.38. Priya sold a portion, not because she believed it was the top, but because she wanted to turn a lesson into reality, a real safety cushion for family. She used that money to prepay trade school costs for her younger brother. And the lightest feeling was the feeling of not needing to beg for help when life gets hard. This is crypto explained as profit with purpose. Looking back, Litecoin in this stage feels like a test of adulthood. MWEB shows Litecoin still wants to move forward, but it also reminds you that privacy always comes with controversy. Halving reminds you supply reduction is real, but miracles are not guaranteed. ETFs remind you the traditional system may open the door a little wider, but that does not automatically make holders happy. Jasmine changed her life by choosing enough. Derek changed his life by learning to stop. Priya changed her life by taking profits according to a goal, not according to noise. And that is what Cryptocurrency Academy wants to leave inside this story. In the end, it is not only about what Litecoin does. It is about whether the person holding Litecoin is willing to live with a plan. This is Crypto Explained as personal responsibility. If this story helped you stay calmer and get pulled less by the crowd, please tap subscribe, turn on the bell, and leave a comment below. Have you ever entered a trade because of FOMO, and what did you learn from it? Every subscription and every real comment gives Cryptocurrency Academy the energy to keep telling crypto stories in a clear, practical, everyday way. And that is Crypto Explained the way we believe it should be.